And we welcome you into Dodger Poke Report for another main feature cut. Today's main feature is on flame-throwing right-hander for the Dodgers, Bobby Miller, who is one of the best pitching prospects in all of the game of baseball. We saw Miller just the other day in the Futures game. He is able to hit 100 miles an hour with his fastball. I've seen him go above 100 with it. He has the 4 pitches with the changeup, the slider, and the curveball. So the sky is the limit for this young flame-throwing right-hander Bobby Miller. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it, and let's break down what makes him so good. The first thing that I want you to notice is with almost every pitcher nowadays that everything sets up off his fastball. That was a 99 mile an hour fastball. He located it to the outer half. He's going to come back into the inner half, and this is Anthony Prado, who is a very good hitter. You can see 301 on the year, and he's going to just show that changeup, or excuse me, that slider away to set up the fastball back in on the hands that Prado cannot handle. So whenever he's able to use his fastball to set everything else back up, he is very, very good. I wanted to show you this too. This is Chris Williams, who is also a very good hitter, and I think Bobby Miller would be the first one to tell you this was not the greatest slider that he's ever thrown, but because it was for strike one, Williams was not able to make good contact with it and keep it fair. And the reason for that is when a pitcher, much like especially when you have a 100 mile an hour fastball like Bobby Miller does, when they're able to throw strike one with 2 different pitches that are at least 10 miles an hour apart off of each other, it is virtually impossible for the hitter to ambush the pitcher at that point and make solid contact. So the goal for every pitcher is in the first 3 pitches to throw at least 2 of them that are 10 miles an hour apart from each other, and both of them land in the strike zone, something of which Bobby Miller did to Chris Williams in this sequence, and that is why Williams was not able to square the ball up. Then now look how the fastball, look how fast it looks after that slider. Williams is not able to catch up with it. He is behind. He shows that changeup up and in just to set everything back up. Then he comes back in on the hands with the fastball, and he is setting Williams up for that slider. Again, that's not the best pitch. I think Miller would be the first one to tell you that is not the best slider that he's ever thrown in his life, but it was successful, and I think it's because, look, there's the slider right there. It was successful because he had shown the fastball. He had shown the speed of the fastball. I'm going to back that up just a touch and show you that again. He had shown the speed of the fastball, so the timing was off for Williams. He had also thrown the fastball and the changeup inside to Williams, so it got him pulling off the ball a little bit. So not only was Williams early, he was pulling off the ball a touch. So although this was not the best slider that Bobby Miller, Williams is the hitter actually, that Bobby Miller has ever thrown, Chris Williams was not able to make good contact. He popped it up and he got an out. So we're going to continue to move on as this thing continues to roll. Here is a good look at Bobby Miller, the 6'5" product out of Louisville. And we're going to move on to the next hitter. This is Christian Encarnacion Strand. He is an Oklahoma State boy. I got to see almost every one of his at-bats at Oklahoma State. He is a tremendous hitter. There's the 99 on the outer half. And he, then there's the slider. Here's the thing, though. He goes both outside locations, and this is the slider that he threw you're looking at as a still. He went outside with the fastball, then also outside with the slider. And I can tell you, having seen Christian Encarnacion Strand hit very many times at Oklahoma State, if you throw him on the outer half, it does not matter what pitch it is. He has such long arms. He has such great leverage. He has such great plate coverage. He is absolutely going to be able to cover that pitch. So although Encarnacion Strand was a touch early, he was still able to deposit the ball into left field. But here's the key. Because it was an off-speed pitch, because it was a slider that you're going to see, well, I'm going to back that up and I'm going to let you see here. Because it was a slider and because Encarnacion was a little bit early, I'm going to back it up just a little bit. Right there is the fastball. And so because he's a little bit early on this next pitch, the slider right here, it's not unbelievable contact. It's just a single. Everything's okay at that point. If all you give up are singles to guys like Christian Encarnacion Strand, you are doing a good job. But here's what happens to Miller whenever he starts to struggle. His next 3 or 4 off-speed pitches are not really anywhere close in the zone. You see him pull that slider. Here is a fastball that he's nibbling on 3 and 2, not in the strike zone, so he walks. Here is another slider that he's pulling. Miller is now trying to pitch away from contact, and because of that, he is not throwing strikes, and not throwing strikes. There's another fastball he's nibbling. We see him nibble on the outer half, now on the inner half, and what I want you to notice, when he attacks the strike zone, this is Chris Williams again, nobody's making solid contact. This is a routine fly ball from Williams. Here is a routine ground ball by Leopoldo Cabrera that scored a run because Miller had walked a couple and gotten behind the strike zone. And what I want you to notice here, this is Deshaun Kiersey Jr., who I saw play at Dallas Baptist, great hitter. This is the only fastball of the entire inning that the Wichita Wind Surge were able to hit squarely and hit for a base hit. And if you'll look on the screen, guess what the count was? The count was 2-0 because he got behind on a changeup that he did not throw for strike. So although he does throw upwards to 100 miles an hour, if you're behind in the count and professional hitters know what pitch you're getting ready to throw, they are going to be able to hit the pitch no matter how hard you throw. So we're going to continue to move on. I'm going to show you one more aspect to his game. There is the little chopping ground ball on the fastball by Leopoldo Cabrera. We're going to move on. If you remember, this is that same hitter, Anthony Prado. And if you remember last time that I showed you, he was getting carved up on the fastballs that were being located on the outer half of the plate, and then eventually Miller got him sawed off on the inner half where Prado could not pull the trigger. Well, this time Prado gets him back, and he gets him back. I'm going to rewind this 10 seconds. You're going to see this ground ball again. Then you're going to see Anthony Prado get a base hit. Guess what pitch it's on? It's on that slider again, that same slider that Christian Encarnacion Strand got hit on earlier in the inning. So if you'll notice, and I'm going to switch this back to me, whenever, in this entire inning where, as you see, it's 3-0, they're getting ready to be 4-0, in the multi-run inning that Bobby Miller gave up the other night, it was 2 hits on sliders. It was a hit on a 2-0 fastball where Deshaun Kiersey Jr. knew exactly what pitch was coming. And then they were profitable because Miller stopped throwing strikes with his off speed because he gave up that hit on the slider to Encarnacion Strand. So it's very simple stuff. Whenever he's attacking with the fastball and he is locating the fastball, commanding it to both sides of the plate, and then letting all of his off-speed play off of that, you saw earlier in this video, he's almost absolutely unhittable to professional hitters. But when he gets in trouble is whenever he's trying to pitch away from contact, not throwing strikes, walking hitters, and then getting behind the count with his fastball, and or throwing that slider that we saw is able to be hit to hitters in the professional game. So I hope you enjoyed it. That is my main feature cut on Bobby Miller, and I hope that you log on to DodgerPokeReport.com or visit Dodger Poke on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. This is also going to be a podcast, so go to your podcast streaming service of your choice and search Dodger Poke Report and never miss a thing from Dodger Poke. As always, I'm glad that you've tuned in, and go Dodgers.